in the past 2 decades. However, there are numerous reports of threats and acts of killings and arrests for people who have been seen to have worked with Western forces. A leaked United Nations report said the group has priority lists of individuals it wants to arrest and is threatening to kill or arrest family members if the wanted don't give themselves up. A former government spokesperson was killed by the Taliban a few weeks ago as punishment for his deeds. Sources have confirmed Taliban fighters last week executed 2 senior police officials. The former security police officer in the southwestern province of Farah was fatally shot. At least a dozen former provincial officials of the Ghani government have been detained around the country. How is that not retaliation and revenge for those who worked with the former government to the front doors of Afghans who assisted Western forces? I mean, you might have a policy which you can express out in Doha. That is not being adhered to by Taliban fighters on the ground in Afghanistan.
Girls within Afghanistan and whether they will be allowed to carry on living their lives in a free and safe way, of course. Can you talk about the allowance of women to carry on doing their jobs, whether they'll be able to go to work, and also studying as well at school and at university? We've had varying reports of a professor of economics saying that she will be allowed to go back to work, but only once the soldiers have been taught how to behave around women. What is the situation within the education system? Let's start there for women and what subjects they'll be able to study and how they'll be able to continue, if they will be able to continue their study.
Officer who is a woman, Deputy Head of Criminal Investigations in the Afghan Interior Ministry, beaten by Taliban fighters at Kabul airport as she tried to get out. She'd been a notable media presence. She was a role model for Afghan women. She's now on the run. We had pictures of a news anchor, a female news anchor, turned away by the Taliban as she arrived for work at her radio station. In a video that she posted online, she said, "I was not allowed in despite having my office card. The male employees with office cards were able to enter the office. I was told that I couldn't continue my duties." What you're saying, Dr. Shaheen, and what is actually happening on the ground, there seems to be a discrepancy there.
As well. Are you concerned that those supporters of the Taliban aren't going to accept what you're saying? They aren't going to accept that women can carry on studying what they want to study. They aren't going to accept that women like this news anchor can go to work. And you trying to control those foot soldiers, those supporters of the Taliban, is going to be virtually impossible.
Of bin Laden's security chief and arms supplier, Amin al...
Are you going to persuade the world that the Taliban is in control of a country and they can be trusted, that they aren't a terrorist organisation, they aren't working to their own agenda, and on a global scale, they are a group and a party that need to be heard and need to be given a voice, so they don't just think of you as terrorists?
Homosexuals, and continue, in the eyes of many, many people, to pose a serious threat. And whatever you might say, a lot of people believe, unfortunately, the worst. We appreciate your time this morning, Dr. Suhail Shaheen. Time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. We'll see you in a moment.
Morning, a spokesman for the Taliban has told this programme that they...
Let's get the news, travel and weather where you are. We'll see you in a moment.
Right then, still to come, Dominic Raab is set to be questioned by MPs over Afghanistan today. We're going to be speaking to Shadow Foreign... It is 13 minutes to 8. So breaking news this morning, a spokesman for the Taliban has told this programme that they do not have a hit list and have promised the safe passage for those who want to leave the country.
Dr. Suhail Shaheen also said they will not allow terror groups in the country and are committed to peace and stability. Shadow Foreign Secretary Lisa Nandy joins us now. It's quite a surreal experience, Lisa Nandy, talking to a Taliban spokesman. And I know a lot of viewers will be upset, but the government now has to deal officially with the Taliban. They are in charge in Afghanistan, and so it's important that we listen to what they have to say. Although a remarkable interview, because apparently the policy is totally liberal, everything's fine. The atrocities which are happening on the ground are just either malign reports in order to smear the Taliban, or they're individuals who are pretending to be the Taliban. I mean, as I said to the spokesperson, the viewers will make up their own minds, but it is a pretty shocking situation there on the ground that the official spokesman is trying to gloss over.
For him to sit there and dismiss all the things that we put to him and say, as Susanna said, exactly what they are, but they will be judged on their actions. The problem we have now is how are we going to be able to hold them to account? What confidence do you have that our government, our foreign secretary, even the Americans are going to actually be able to hold the Taliban to account? Joe Biden saying last night, the President of America, that they have serious leverage over the Taliban with regards to what they have promised and what they have said. Do you have faith that that leverage is going to be able to have any traction at all?
The programme, the chair of the Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee, Tom Tugendhat, joins us next. The Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, faces questions from that committee later on today.
You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. Good morning, Britain. It's just approaching 8 o'clock. Breaking news. A spokesman for the Taliban has denied on this programme there is any hit list of Afghanis who previously worked with Western governments. He also claimed...
It's a real morning for us on Good Morning Britain to speak to a spokesman for the Taliban who says there's no hit list, there's no retaliation, there's no revenge. These acts of murder and threat and these arrests, they're being done by people posing as Taliban, or they're part of some sort of smear campaign against the Taliban, because the policy apparently is for safe passage and an amnesty. What do you make of that?
I'm afraid...
Foreign aid, we would imagine, is still going to be hugely important to the country if indeed they allow that Western foreign aid to come in. But should we have faith that Dominic Raab can make any of those things happen?
Well,
attacked after 9/11. How worried are you that Al-Qaeda will once again establish a base in Afghanistan? And how big a threat is that to us?
well, we've tried to...
Interested in what the Foreign Secretary says to you, Tom Tugendhat.
Only got an hour, though.
The Foreign Affairs Select Committee a little bit later on this afternoon. Lots of serious questions to answer. 8 minutes past 8. Still ahead on Good Morning Britain. Millions of pupils...
Weather and travel where you are. See you in a minute. They don't want to go through what Josh and his family are having to go through right now, so incredibly important.
Our thanks and best wishes to them. Lots more still to come on the programme. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV. We'll see you in a moment. Restrictions might be introduced, but we do not want to go back, by the way, to online home learning. Just,
Please, no.
you know, that's an FYI, Kevin
Yeah.
Williamson. 8:33.
OK, we're returning to our breaking news this morning. We had a spokesman for the Taliban on the programme denying that there was any hit list of Afghans who have previously worked with Western governments.
Also claimed every Afghan who wants to leave has the right to do so, and they won't allow terror groups in the country. Well, we're joined now by Victoria Atkins, Home Office Minister, now the Afghan Resettlement Minister, so revenge. What happens if those Afghans that we have left behind are punished by the Taliban? What do we do then?
Grant safe passage to the UK as well. You know, interpreters, people who've worked with foreign governments over there, people who feel like their lives are at risk and they can get the required permissions to come. The difficulty is, of course, until we can set up this crisis response teams that are on the other countries bordering Afghanistan, and as Susanna said, we still don't know, despite what the Taliban spokesman said, which was we will allow safe passage for those people wanting to leave. Until we get them set up, what are they supposed to do in the meantime?
Well,
It feels a little bit like, you know, there's a massive secret being given away as we're talking to you this morning.
okay, I'm going to tell you a secret.
You're back, centre of attention, centre of our screens right now. Sunday is when Gino's Best Bits of Family Fortunes airs, and the full series back on Sunday the 12th. Give us one best bit from Family Fortunes. What's one of the answers, Gino, where you've just put your head in your hands and thought, how could they possibly think that?
I say anything naughty. But really, you know, when somebody asks you a question like that, and the only thing I can say, don't say anything.
Don't say it.
Don't say anything.
Don't say it, don't say it.
That's probably
Don't say
best.
anything.
We'll make it easy for you because we have to leave it there.
Gino,
Gino
thank you
DeCampo,
so much for joining us.
Can I say something? I saw my son this morning before he went to work, and I said, look, I'm going to be with Ben and Susanna. And he went, oh, Dad, she's fit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
He's not wrong, Gino. He's a DeCampo, isn't he, after all?
And he's absolutely right, guys.
Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Mwah.
Good morning, Britain. Back tomorrow from 6. Here's Lorraine.
Jeez.
Thank you very much.